All right, should be live right now. What's up, guys? Wanted to go ahead and do a live today, kind of showing you guys how much an Amazon FBA seller actually makes, because I know a lot of people on TikTok, on YouTube, on social media like to go ahead and just portray the top line number. And if you guys are on here and if it sounds too loud, let me know so I can go ahead and adjust the audio itself. But without further ado, let's kind of get to what the video is for. So how much does an Amazon FBA seller actually make? Because there's a lot of fees associated when it comes to Amazon FBA. And if you guys follow this YouTube channel, you guys know that I'm straight to the actual point, right? So over the last 7 months, you can see up here, and these are my actual products. You can see that this is Maverick. I own 3 brands right now. This is currently Maverick, which is my biggest brand. And I also own Factory Laced, and I also own Nudry Lab. So just accounting for just one particular brand, which is Maverick, this is how much I made from January 1st to July 31st, which has been $2.2 million. And a little background about myself is I've been in Amazon FBA since 2018. I started off with Factory Lace. Before then, it was called Deadstock. I got involved in a trademark lawsuit case back in 2021, I believe, and I had changed my name to Factory Lace. Since then, I've shifted my focus as far as starting from scratch, which I'm actually going to start doing again, starting brands from scratch. But I kind of shifted my focus in purchasing Amazon FBA businesses. And the reason for that is because it's easier to dissect issues or, optimize different types of businesses and scale them out than it is starting from scratch, because you can do all the research in the world and there is some risk involved, right? And the biggest risk is not understanding your core audience. So that's a different video for a different day, but let's get actually to it, right? So $2.2 million made in the last 7 months on Amazon FBA. You can see sales, $2.2 million. After that, as far as how many units I sold, it was roughly around 34,000 units combined that I went ahead and sold within the last 7 months. And within Amazon, I like to run 5% coupon codes to go ahead and help with conversion rate. And I spent over $66,000 in just promos. And if you guys know anything about Amazon, they're always switching up things. And now there's a different fee structure when it comes to coupons, lightning deals than it was previously. And it just started back in June and July. So I'm still testing out different things. But just in promos alone, over the last 7 months, I've spent $66,000, which averages out to like around $10,000 every single month. And advertising. I'm very big on advertising now that I do coaching as well, right? Like we have to have enough margin in order to go ahead and go heavy on ads, because that is our strategy, being seen multiple times and utilizing Amazon FBA or Amazon PPC more than anything else, because the shiny object in the room is always going on eBay, going on Walmart, going on TikTok Shop, or advertising on Google ads, Facebook ads. Just focus on the low-hanging fruit when it comes to Amazon PPC. And I go ahead and, practice what I preach. I spent $66,000 on, or I'm sorry, $525,000. I knew that didn't look right? $525,000 in advertising over these last 7 months. And obviously every single brand on Amazon has to go through some type of issues when it comes to refunds, right? Like I have around a 6 or 7% refund rate, which we'll go ahead and show a little bit later on. But just in refunds alone, I've went ahead and lost $112,000. And again, you can try optimizing refunds as much as you can. It's dependent on category by category. But for me, myself, I've still, even though I've tried to optimize as much as I can, I've still went ahead and had $112,000 in refunds. And because this is a live, I kind of want to see if anybody has any questions here throughout the time. So if you guys have any questions whatsoever, right, go ahead and ask it. E-Man, how are you? I've been selling on Amazon for almost a year, selling supplements. What's the best way to manage cash flow on Amazon with payments and Amazon ads? And look, man, supplements is super different than, regular consumer products, because at the end of the day, supplements are purchased over and over again. And you can tell that the cost per click for supplements and repeatable purchases, like let's say for my shoe cleaning business, right? The cost per click is elevated, right? Because you're going to get that sale over and over again. So like for me in my business with Maverick, usually it's a one-time purchase. So I always try and deal with like a cost of like 30% or 35%, whatever it might be, right? Like every single SKU is different as far as like what I try to aim for when it comes to ACOS. But when it comes to supplements, you have to understand that even if you have 100% ACOS right now, that person's going to repeat again and again and again, right? So that 100% ACOS might look like 100% right now, but it technically might be a 20% ACOS after the fourth time that they purchase, right? So this is why supplements is very hard to give advice on, just because it's very different. Any repeatable type of purchase is going to be different, right? So how do you go ahead and manage kind of cash flow with it? Well, if you've been selling for a while, the best way to manage cash flow is to really try and find an agreement with your supplier. Like for instance, for Maverick, my weighted vests are very, very heavy, right? And they cost a lot of money to produce. That's why I'm selling it for like $200 and plus for these units. And I won't be able to scale if I don't have terms with my supplier. So same thing with you. If you've been working with your supplier already, ask for terms and ask for terms consistently. Like for instance, for my weighted vests, like there's some items where I'll produce them, I'll pay the 30%, to go ahead and finish production. And even though they're done with my production, I won't pay until it actually arrives in the US, right? So it gives me enough time for those 30 days that's on a boat to gather some money from Amazon and go ahead and, be able to pay them afterwards. So as far as cash flow is concerned, you have to manage it by working with your supplier. And if you've been working with your supplier repeatedly, that's the best way to go ahead and do that. But let's kind of go into, if you have any questions other than that, let me know. But let's get back into the actual, how much you actually make when it comes to Amazon FBA. So we kind of figured out with refunds, that refund rate, and comes to the fun part, which is Amazon fees, which Amazon takes a lot of fees from people, right? So in total, $2.2 million in revenue, Amazon took $667,000 in fees. And if we go into the actual nitty gritty as far as the details, you can see all the different types of fees that are associated with selling on Amazon. And I'll kind of go through some of them because I can't go through all of them, but you can see the main two are the referral fee, which obviously if you sell on Amazon, you're going to have to pay the 15% selling fee when it comes to Amazon FBA, and then the fulfillment fee, shipping it to a customer. So you can see that I've spent so much money on that, and then you have other fees like storage fees, coupon redemption fees, long-term storage fees, which again, I've made videos about it as far as like me coming out with products and trying to throw spaghetti at the wall and just me getting burned by both the product cost plus the storage cost after that. I try to liquidate. So you can see the liquidation brokerage fees just to liquidate these actual products. I paid $5,000, which sounds crazy. Inbound transportation, which, sometimes I do get lazy and instead of shipping it straight to Amazon, or maybe I don't have space on Amazon, I get it shipped to my house, and from my house, I get it shipped to Amazon. You can see it's just a small total, but it's still $5,000 that could be saving, right? Lightning deals, you can see there, inbound convenience fee, disposable removal, labeling, all these things, right? Like Amazon fees are insane, right? And if you guys know about Amazon FBA fees, you know that, you spend so much money on that. And let me go ahead and tell you if I have any other questions. That's true. Thank you. I will be working on terms. Yeah. Work on terms with suppliers all the time. Like, trust me, even if you think that you can't even negotiate with your supplier, yes, you can. Especially right now with the whole tariff situation going on right now. Like, all of my suppliers want to continue working with me and kind of doubling down with me, right? So always ask for discounts, always ask for terms every single time. And then Amazon fees are ridiculous. It's the reason why most sellers quit. Yeah, the reason it's not seller fees. Like the thing is, Amazon fees are very transparent, right? Like how much they're going to charge you before you even start selling on Amazon. So the reason why sellers quit is because they don't understand their numbers up front. Like whenever I talk to a student that is starting Amazon FBA for the first time, we focus on the expense ratios, right? So like if you're selling a product for $100, right, and it costs you, $20 to go ahead and manufacture the actual product, and another, $5 to $10 to go ahead and ship that product into Amazon, and then the Amazon FBA fees are out of control. Like we all focus on percentages. So the main ones is making the product, getting it shipped to Amazon, Amazon 15% fee, and the fulfillment fee, right? All those four things, which is the main part as far as selling on Amazon FBA, can't be more than 55% of your sales price, because the other 45% as far as like gross profit is concerned, you're going to spend a lot on ads and all these tick-tack fees that kind of add up. that at the end of the day, you want to be at that 20 to 30% conversion rate, right? I mean, not conversion rate, profit margin percentage. So I don't necessarily think that Amazon FBA fees is the reason why sellers quit, because you should already know what those fees are, right? So there goes with that. But let's go back into showing this right over here. So after the Amazon fees that we went ahead and showed is the cost of goods sold. And what is cost of goods sold? It is basically how much it costs to produce your actual product and get it shipped into an Amazon warehouse. And I spent over $434 on that. And I already kind of gave away how much my actual profit margin is, but kind of bear with me. After all those fees are in order, my actual gross profit out of $2.2 million is $446,000. And this still doesn't account for like the salary that I pay myself. I do have another business partner in this actual business as well. So that's accounted for as well. Like we pay ourselves a combined, I want to say like $20,000 a month off of this actual business, because we're still in the growth phase of our actual business. So we continuously are reinvesting back basically as much as we can, right? Like obviously we have to go out and take out money from the actual business to survive month to month. And that's, I use that with Factory Lace as well. We do a little bit of that in Nudary Labs, but because it's in the infancy stages, we don't really do that. But with Maverick, we just try and take as little as we can to kind of, live our lifestyle that we currently have, and everything gets reinvested back. Like we have new product launches launching. We're ordering more inventory so we don't run out, because we've had out of stock issues constantly. So cash flow is always a big issue. So that's why, going ahead and negotiating with suppliers is a huge deal, right? So obviously after net profit, there it is, our estimated payouts. And here's the actual numbers that really matter, right? Like I always, whenever I'm starting a business or going ahead and launching a new product, I look at it based on percentages, right? Like I don't really look at it based on a dollar amount. I want to know exactly how much is going to go into Amazon PPC. As you can see, real ACoS is another word for tacos, which just basically means how much percentage of your sales is coming through advertising. And you can see I spend a lot, right? Like I'm 23% in real ACoS. So what that means is that before Amazon, before I go ahead and even make a sale on Amazon, right? Like I have to account for my real ACoS. So you can see like my actual margin is 20% or right around 20%, but real ACoS is really important. And some people might look at a 23.33% tacos and say, dude, that's a lot. That's big. You're relying on ads a lot. I would rather be relying on advertising than organic sales, because organic sales can tank very, very quickly. At least when I know when I'm advertising, it's consistent, right? So you can see my refund rate is also 7%. I have sellable returns, my margin, and my return on investment is the most important thing, right? Like the thing is that for every dollar I put into my actual business, I get a little over $2 back. So that's the 100%, return on investment there. Any other questions, guys? If you lost all your campaigns, how would you rebuild PPC from scratch to truly understand it? Not just launch ads, and what campaigns actually give you real breakthroughs in plus, rank in sales? Great question, Myra, or hopefully I'm saying it right. That's a great question. And this is why it's truly, 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 truly important to get registered for your brand early on, right? And the reason why I say that is because when you start selling on Amazon, you're gathering data consistently, right? Whether that be with ads or organic sales. But when you start going ahead and getting all the data from Amazon, you're able to use brand analytics to your advantage, right? So try and conceptualize this. What I want you to do is, if you do have brand registry and you have a registered brand, go on brand analytics, go on search query performance, and from there, Amazon's going to literally tell you what ads or what keywords you're highly ranked for, or they think that you'll be highly ranked for. And based on like the keywords that you're driving most of your sales from, if you're starting brand new with Amazon PPC and you're trying to rebuild, go through the top 5 that convert the best, or you're getting your most sales in, and build out a single keyword broad match, a single keyword phrase match, a single keyword exact match, a single keyword sponsored brand, a single keyword video ad on that one particular keyword. So one keyword, 5 different campaigns, and just try and blast as much data as possible related to the actual keyword. And the reason why you want to segment all of them is because you want to have total control over the bid modifiers. So you want to be able to make sure that for this broad placement, I can go ahead and work with the bid modifier, top of search, rest of search, and product pages, and kind of manipulate those actual, modifiers from there. for each one of them, because a broad match, a phrase match, and an exact match is all going to give you different data, right? And then with sponsor brands and, sponsor video, it's basically just a broad campaign anyway, but you're layering on top different forms of advertising on Amazon FBA. But that's a great question, right? Like if you start from scratch, that's literally what I do with like current Amazon FBA sellers that are currently selling right now. I literally look at the data that's with their Amazon account right now. So that's a great question. Hopefully that answered your question. Guys, so basically like the fees on Amazon are crazy. Like let's go ahead and kind of take a look at it a little bit further, right? Like you can see that that Amazon takes a lot, advertising takes a lot. So just with those two alone, right? Like I'm paying Amazon just on advertising and Amazon fees alone, like over $1.1 million, over 50% of my sales literally goes to Amazon's pocket. That's why I'm still bullish on Amazon. The thing is that like, yes, I can go and build my own Shopify store, and maybe I can go ahead and build TikTok shop. But the thing is, Amazon customers go to shop, right? Like this is why Amazon PPC is still so underrated, because people aren't going to Amazon to window shop, right? When people go on Amazon, they're there to actually search for something to purchase. And, we can go into the actual like types of advertising that I do, because you guys are here already. Like sponsor brand or sponsor products still take up the majority, but I still go ahead and experiment with like sponsor brands videos, sponsor display. But sponsor display is super underrated, right? Like retargeting people on Amazon is super underrated, because you can get, a ROAS really high up, which again, it means like you can get a really low ACoS. And I'm exploring a little bit more on the sponsor displays, especially now, because they've been actually pretty good. But you can see in my breakdown, right? Like a majority of my advertising still goes to the old school sponsor products, because it works that well, especially for some keywords, right? Let me see if you have any questions. I get many sales from auto campaign, just one keyword I convert well. The thing is that even if it's just one keyword, that's all you need. As long as you have enough search volume on that one particular keyword, that is literally all you need when it comes to Amazon FBA. Like I would argue and say that most of my actual most of my sales probably come from a handful of keywords, right? And other than that, it's just a bunch of like random long tail keywords from there. But as long as you have that one keyword that's giving you the majority of your sales, that's really all you need. And it says, but only problem is getting customers to leave reviews and scale reviews my product. Yeah, the thing is that you still want to stay within, Amazon's terms of service. You don't want to go ahead and add product inserts. Like I have a student of mine named David that he had a product insert on his supplements brand. This guy had a new release badge. He was killing it. And I don't even think his review stickers that he had on his actual brand were against Amazon's terms of service, but they said it was. So I wouldn't even mess with it, right? Like right now he's going through the process of trying to go ahead and get relisted. But that's the risk you take, right? Like if you want to go ahead and get more reviews at some point in time, is it even worth it? Try and just, do everything the right way and do a steady grind. Like that's what I did with Maverick, right? Like you can look at all Maverick products. You can even look at all factory release products. Like I never once like try to incentivize to get a review or anything like that, right? And it's sustainable still. Like I've never experienced like a product getting shut down, like a key product getting shut down. I've never experienced it. I one time did experience one of my shoe wipes. I guess in my backend keywords, I put a brand name, and I'll let you guys know. So with my shoe cleaning wipes, and you guys know it's like shoe cleaner, I had put in my backend keywords this word Yeezy, right? Like Yeezy is like you clean your shoes. So when I was doing like helium 10 and everything like that, like I obviously just put Yeezys for my backend search terms. And for whatever reason, Amazon was just telling me, hey, you're banned because you're saying one particular, one keyword. And it was that keyword Yeezy that, was causing my actual account, my actual product get flagged, which is crazy. So again, always do everything the right way. Don't go ahead and use other brand names to try and rank or anything like that. Like always just do it the old school way. And the way that you know that you have a successful brand is if you understand who your customer avatar is. Like for right now, like anybody watching this or watching the replays of this, if you do not understand what a customer avatar is, you're doing yourself a disservice, because you make the most amount of sales when you're resonating to your customer avatar. That means bullet points, title, main images, secondary images, infographics, all targeting your customer avatar. So if you guys don't know what a customer avatar is, learn it like the back of your hand and start going ahead and implementing everything to your listing based on your customer avatar. And the great thing about, the internet nowadays, go on ChatGPT, go ahead and copy paste your listing and literally ask ChatGPT, hey, this is my product. Who would you say my customer avatar is? So that's literally a cheat code right there for you guys watching. All right, Myra, perfect. It does. Thank you. Yeah, it's honestly not that hard, guys. Like when it comes to Amazon PPC, the only thing is that it can get very overwhelming. Like I have so many campaigns that are opened up, but the great thing about Amazon PPC is that literally all my clicks, all my spend, basically come from maybe 10 different campaigns, 15 different campaigns. And the rest of them are just literally just to go ahead and just, maintain a low ACoS. How long did it take you to wrap your head around how PPC works? I still don't know everything, right? Like I still have friends that, like I know this guy named Brett that we were really close with. This guy has his own PPC, basically mastermind and group. And he really taught me a lot when it comes to Amazon PPC. So like these people download bulk sheets and re-upload bulk sheets and use Scale Insights to, use AI when it comes to all this other stuff. So I don't necessarily, I'm not an expert when it comes to Amazon PPC. I wouldn't say I'm an expert, but I know enough for it to actually make a difference when it comes to Amazon PPC. And it's really not that hard, to be honest with you. Once you understand bid modifiers, once you understand harvesting, once you understand negative keywords, and once you understand auto campaigns and why they're structured a certain way, once you understand click-through rates, there's all these little things you start learning, right? I'm just throwing up acronyms and stuff like that. But once you understand those key things, that's really all you need to know when it comes to Amazon PPC for the short term. Obviously, there's sponsored display and being able to go ahead and be effective and maybe using DSP, when you get to this size. But, as a small Amazon FBA seller, if you're only doing, $1 or $2 million per year, it doesn't take much for you to go ahead and really scale with Amazon PPC. So it probably took me years to actually learn PPC, honestly. But now I can kind of explain it very easy. What is the best way to beat big brands with bigger budgets than me, who's a solo seller? Margin. You have to have margin. The thing is that I have another student of mine that's been selling for years, right? This guy, he does very well for himself. And he manufactures his product here in the US. So automatically, his margins are not that great compared to the competition. And even with that, he's still making sales. And I tell him hey bro, in order for you to continue where you're at and you're trying to scale, you need to raise your price. And he's like, well, if I raise my prices, then I'm not going to be competitive. The thing is that there's some people and there's some products that they all look the same. I'll use an example of a standing desk right here, right? If you type in standing desk on Amazon right now, there's so many of the same exact standing desk. What makes the biggest difference? Being seen, having more impressions than your competition, being able to be top of search, videos, brands, rest of search, product pages. That's the biggest determining factor. And how do you do that? Having enough margin to actually run ads, right? So that's the biggest thing, especially when you're in a competitive space. Your competitive advantage is ads. It might sound very basic, right? But the more you are seen, the more likely you are to go actually get sales. And the most important thing is being able to have enough margin to do it, right? So that's one thing. Let me see if there's anything else. And look, the thing is that people would look and audit my account. If you get one of the big Amazon FBA guys to kind of audit any of my accounts, right? They'll probably say that, he's spending way too much on tacos. He's going ahead and, not as efficient. The thing is, all I care about is how much I net, right? At the end of the day, it's how much goes into my pocket. I would gladly spend more on advertising if it meant that I was going to get more bottom line. I'm an operator, right? I don't use fancy frameworks and tell you go do this and download this spreadsheet. I'm an operator in my business, and the number one priority of my business is to be profitable. So I will spend as much as I need as long as it results in me getting profit. And again, focus on percentages when it comes to Amazon FBA. So if you're selling a product for $100, focus to make sure, okay, this percentage is going towards, cost of goods sold. This percentage is going to that 15% with Amazon fees. This percentage is going to fulfillment fee. How much percentage do I have to work with to acquire a customer? So if you're selling $100 item, in this sense, it means that I'm spending $23 in ads, because you can see like my real ACOS down there is 23.33%. So it means that if I'm selling a $100 item, it's costing me $23.33 to acquire that customer. All right, guys. So always focus on that. And then what I also wanted to say was, look at my unit session percentage. Like my conversion rate is 3% or 3.8%. If you ask any big name person, they will tell you that this conversion rate is extremely low. You will never rank on Amazon FBA. You will never make sales on Amazon FBA. The thing is, I literally focus on volume, right? Like I'm literally getting clicks like crazy when it comes to running Amazon PPC, right? So obviously some of these clicks don't result into a sale, but I have enough margin for it to make sense. Like I still have a 20% profit margin. And most of you guys might look at 20% profit margin and think it's very, very low, but at the same time, look at how much I'm netting, right? So as long as I'm netting that amount, I'm perfectly okay with only getting a 20% profit margin. Okay. Thank you. I couldn't compete with the price war against my competitors, so being premium price is worth it. Yeah, for sure. I'm telling you guys, like that is your competitive edge, right? Like you being able to have enough margin, so just heighten your price, become that premium option. Because at the end of the day, most of the items that you purchase from a day to day, the only reason why X is going ahead and charging more than Y is maybe the quality, but more than likely is just the brand, right? Like there's a reason why Louis Vuitton can go ahead and charge the way that they charge, and you might see a different one at Target that has the same quality, right? It's the brand name. So you know, put yourselves in that pedestal as far as your brand is concerned and charge more. For PPC, do you care about sales volume or being profitable or both? Profitability, right? Like I would say probably if you look at the sales, like we'll look into it, right? Like I'll pull up my, well, it doesn't tell me here, right? Like I spent $525,000 in advertising. I would like to see how much that resulted in sales. So let me kind of open it up and I'll show you guys right after as well what I'm discussing, right? So year to date, yeah, we'll do year to date just because I obviously can't go back to yesterday being July 31st, but let me kind of share my screen with you guys. You can see, right, that I spent $526,000 and my sales are $1.5 million, right? So keep that in mind, $1.5 million in sales, right? So if I go back to this number here, I have $1.5 million comes from advertising. And overall, I do $2.2 million in sales, right? So the majority of my sales come through advertising. And again, I don't want everybody to take out of this video saying that, hey, I just need to advertise more. You can only advertise more if you have the profit to do so. If you have the margin, to go ahead and do so. So always keep that in mind. The last thing I want to go ahead and do from this video is tell you to go ahead and spend more on ads where you don't even know your margins, right? Like if you don't understand as far as how much margin you have to play with, you going ahead and trying to scale with ads is going to be a detriment to your actual business. So go back, try and figure out what your profitability is and how much you can actually dedicate towards ads. But yes, the number one concern that I have with any of my businesses is if I'm profitable. But like you mentioned before, you're selling in supplements. So you have to have a longer term approach when it comes to profitability, because you might not be profitable today, but eventually, once these people start reordering, you're going to become profitable, right? So your organic sales are continuously going to go up because you have subscribe and save. So it's a different type of environment that you're in. Okay. Is it worth it to get a business credit card for Amazon PPC? If you have margin, like I mentioned before, if you have margin and you know that you can go ahead and, be profitable with your actual margin and going all in with Amazon PPC, sure, get an 18-month 0% APR credit card. But first, make sure that you're able to go ahead and have enough margin for it to make sense. Because I've seen it go the opposite way where somebody goes and I've done it before, like Factory Lace, right? Like I would go heavy on advertising and at the end of the month, I only have like a 5 or 10% profit margin. What's the point of that? Right? All my money is going to Amazon or to my supplier because I have to reorder inventory and I'm only getting 5% or 10%. So you have to make sure that you have enough margin if you're going to go all in on Amazon PPC. But again, if you guys are interested at all, as like me taking a deep dive into your business, or you're looking for like one-on-one type of coaching, because that's all I offer, right? Like I don't sell a course. I don't sell like anything else like that, as far as like you just watching videos, like I do offer a one-on-one service. So if you guys are interested whatsoever, just go ahead and go on my Instagram, email Los Angeles, DM me the word brand, and I'll go ahead and start that conversation with you guys to see if I can go ahead and dissect your business, see your inefficiencies, and see if I can go ahead and actually scale out your business. But that's kind of all the questions that I have here today. I kind of went longer than I thought I would, but I appreciate you guys for going ahead and watching, subscribing to this YouTube channel, all the whole nine. Subscribe, like, follow me on Instagram. But until next time, guys, peace.